What's up? What's up?
What's up, YouTube family? You got broke farm. Amy's Avenger
Hey,
liaison. Top dog. Top grow off champion. Trophy champion. You got broke farmer. And this is my guy Q. You probably know him as Professor Q. Farmer
Professor
Q.
Q,
Line
Farmer
Chris
Q,
Family Garden.
whatever you want to call me.
Always
What's up?
doing this thing. And anytime I can have Farmer Q on this platform, it's a great day. It's a great day. Now,
Hey, I'm glad to be here, bro. I'm glad to be here. We about to have a good time.
and if you are in the midst of the commercials, go ahead and watch them commercials. Go ahead and watch them commercials. Look here. Let me get, the 26 cents I get from YouTube for you watching that commercial. Now, I like to start off these live with a little inspirational something. And I'm gonna start it off like this. If your spring garden was trash, it's a new year. If your fall garden was trash, it's a new year.
It's a new year.
So don't worry about last year. Don't worry about last year. This year. This 2022. The sky is no, take that back. The universe. Now let me take that back. The world on the other side of Mars of the nether regions is the limit for you. Do what
Hey,
you need to do to get what you want to get. Stop talking about what you're gonna do. Stop it. I've heard enough of it. Stop talking about what you're gonna do. Go
and take
outside
that
and
first
get it.
step.
Fact.
Exactly.
If
So
you want more money, work more hours. Stop talking about you broke. Work more hours to get what you want to get. You know what I mean? If you stop coming to work saying you hate your job, find another job. You know what I mean? Take action.
100%.
Take
100%.
action. And people are always talking about they praying for strength, and which is always a great idea to pray for whatever you want or whatever you need. But faith without works, I'll let you fill in the blank. You got to put some works in there. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean? It's cool to have a bunch of faith, but you got to do something. Like with your dad. You tell your dad you want to buy a bicycle when you were growing up. What do he tell you? You cut the grass, you clean your room up. You got to have some works to get what you want. Work this thing. And the garden is no different. You want great vegetables, do the work. Plant when you're supposed to plant, water when you're supposed to plant. Put it, whatever you're growing in the line of sun. It's all about the works. Q, do you have anything to add to that, sir?
Hey, I'm in full agreement with you because if you ain't moving, you ain't doing nothing, you ain't getting nothing. But what I'll tell you is this: we got to support each other, and we got to make sure that we are truly trying to do what we got to do to make it happen. Because, like you said, it ain't gonna happen unless you're doing something. So that's
Hey,
all.
look, Myra McLean in the building. Myra McLean say, I almost miss you and Q. Your name is broke. My name always
Hey,
been broke. For anybody who know me outside of YouTube,
that's
my
funny
name
you
been
say that
broke.
because when you said when you said don't say I'm broke, I was like your name is bro. I thought that in my head when you said that but I knew what you meant. But it's funny they said that though. It's good to see you, Myron McLean. It's good to see everybody who's in here today, who's in the building on today. So hey, it's good to see y'all.
Miss Native Cherokee 7 in the building. She said, I'm finally getting more done too and just upload a new YouTube video about my greenhouse. I told you, bro, farmer, I was up in my game. And that's what it's all about. Go Hey, if y'all get a minute, go over to Miss Native Cherokee 7 and check out her greenhouse. Let's see what she's talking about.
Oh yeah.
And appreciate you sharing out the video. And if anybody else would like to share it out, share it out. If not, not a big whoop. Not a big whoop. For the people who in here, we're gonna have fun. We first off, we definitely gonna have fun and a good time. Stephanie Shockley in the building. Say hello, everyone. I'm so glad I find this community. I'm loving all the info and shared love. First off, Stephanie Shockley, sound like this is your first time in a lab in a live. If you don't know who this young fella is to my left, former Q, a Lion Chris family. Uh,
Lioncrest Family Gardening.
I was close. I was close. And so everybody that's in the chat right now, Let's tell Stephanie Chocolate, hey, what's up, Stephanie Chocolate? And welcome her properly to our community. And Stephanie
Welcome.
Chocolate, if you don't mind, could you tell her what grows on you in? So, we can connect you with people that's, in areas that's like yours. Danae's backyard garden. Let's make sure we are hitting the like button too. Hey, most
Hey,
definitely.
you got
Hey,
to do that.
Danae, look. You go sorry, cute. Pescatarian gardener in the building. Glad to have you in here. And if some of y'all don't know what pescatarian is, probably have to Google it because I'm not sure myself. Just Google it. And I missed Andale. There you go. Andale in the building. Andale, appreciate you putting that up. Y'all want to go check out
Yeah.
Miss Native Cherokee 70 greenhouse? There's a link right there. Check out after the live. After the live. Slow your horses. After the live. Do a timestamp on it. The timestamp is 3:10. Come back into the live at 3:10 and get it right there, all right? Cassandra Dominique in the building. Speaking of Stephanie, my Rhode Island Reds, and if you don't know, Rhode Island Reds are chickens. Fun fact, I didn't know that at first.
Yeah.
My tiny garden in the building. Glad to have you in here. Canadian Pride Get Outdoors. My teammate, the great Canadian Pride Get Outdoors.
Yeah, I see y'all.
Garden. What's up, Q?
I was just saying, I see y'all. Amy's Avengers. I see y'all.
My Rhode Island Reds is currently representing Zone 6. Whoop, whoop. Stephanie said, yep, I caught one of the other recorded videos that y'all did together. I need to get a bucket so I can make some of that stinky water for my plant. Hey, now what you got to do, you got to go over to Q channel and check it out. He is doing it efficiently. And he got a couple tricks to that game right there you might want to check out. Do you remember what the name of that video was?
I don't exactly remember the name of that video, but it's definitely there. It's about 3 months ago or so, but it's there.
It's there. Q don't lie. Growing with her in the building. Glad to have you in here. The sweet spot in the building. Affectionately known in the YouTube streets as Sweet Pea also. So if you see somebody say Sweet Pea in the chat, they are talking to the sweet spot. Creative Girl Homestead in the building. Glad to have you in here.
I see y'all that sauce in here. I see y'all.
What that sauce?
I'm just saying I see the team members. They ain't shouting it out yet, but I see my team members. I see them. You just shouted one of them out yourself while you asking where they at. Hey, I'm kicking back. We in unfamiliar territory at this moment, but you know what it is. We chilling.
Pit Stop Kitchen and Garden in the building. Say, hey, bro, Q and chat. Listen from the garden. That's the place to be. The place to be. GT Junior Grows Alaska in the building. And if you don't understand his name, he grows stuff in Alaska. It's super cold out there. So he's doing this thing out there.
He is. He definitely making it happen because it's not easy out there.
My granny's garden in the building. She is also a teammate of mine. Glad to have you in here. Eco Neighbor in the building. Glad to have you here.
What's up?
Stephanie Chocolate is at 7B Georgia. Whoop whoop. GA. I am at 88 Georgia. Somebody else that's cool. I was gonna shout him out, but I don't see him in the chat, and I'm just joking. It's a channel called Hands in the Dirt that's also in the same zone, 7B, that's also in Georgia. So me and Hands in the Dirt are Georgia people. There you go. If you're interested in checking out this channel, it's probably a good channel that line up with your zone. Audrey Willis in the building. Love that avatar. You like a superhero. You just saved the day.
She do.
I think I pretty much got everybody. Oh, Veggie Farm in the building. G Mama Grows It. G Mama say, hello, Brook Farm Q Internet cousins. Z. Zone 6A in the building. Uh,
He gave us his mental interpretation verbally right there.
yeah, that's how I see it in my mind.
Exactly,
Uh,
exactly.
this is Nikki from the everyday life of an OCD-ish chick. Say hello, bro. Lion Crest and cousins, Amy's Avengers. I'm getting back on the road, but I'm listening. There you go. Look, you're gonna have a lot to listen to. But we're gonna kick it off, Q. We're gonna kick it off a little bit. Well, Nana's crazy life. Donna J. Griggs in the building. Glad to have you in here. Look at that. Watch it, Q. Boop.
Hey, I see you. I see you. Okay.
Oh man. Yeah, that's pretty
Hey,
much what
you
you
know what?
expect.
Y'all can still pause it and see that exactly what he sent, and then
Yeah,
put
you
back
can.
down real quick. But it's all good. He put it up in the first place.
Rambo Green Hands in the building. Hey, congratulations on your I think you just hit 1K. Congratulations. It's always hard work and a lot of determination to go into that. Say Garden found what having good evening from me and afternoon to y'all. Glad to have you in here whatever time.
Glad
Oh
to
my
see you.
goodness.
Good to see you.
I think I got everybody. I ain't missed nobody there, Q.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you. And I
Bless,
mean,
bless up.
if
Now
you
look,
miss somebody, they're gonna say something. You're gonna see them, so it's all good.
the, what we talking about are legumes. And legumes are beans and peas. And to be more specific, they are beans, soybeans, peas, chickpeas, peanuts. And for the subject we're talking today, from my understanding, peanuts are the best nitrogen fixers. Between peanuts and the soybean, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure I'm 86% correct. Lentils, lupus, mesquite, which I don't even know what it is, corral, tamarind, alfalfa, and clover. I did not know that alfalfa was a part of that family. See, when you do your research, you find out some crazy things.
Shoot,
Q, did you know
alfalfa is.
alfalfa was in there?
I did not know alfalfa was. I knew alfalfa was an amazing plant and it did it did good stuff for the soil, but I did not know it was part of that list.
Yeah, alfalfa and clover. Now I'm a little familiar with clover, but
Yeah.
alfalfa threw me for a loop. Did y'all know that? Oh, look at there, Laura
Hey, 1
Sample.
second. I'll be right back. 1 second.
All right, Laura Sample in the building. Laura Sample, you know I ain't forget you. I might have looked over you for a minute, but I definitely gonna catch back up with you. The sweet spot say, LOL. I don't think I can pronounce all that. Look, I'm pretty sure I pronounced all that wrong. I'm pretty sure all that was pronounced wrong. But y'all get to understand if we're gonna have a conversation about something, we need to know everything that encompassed in that. So that's why I gave the name. But hold on. Growing with Dunn in the building. Say, hey fam, can't stay, but came to give a thumbs up and send hugs and vibes. That's what it's all about, Dunn. Appreciate that. And I saw Janice W Janice W in the building. Say, hey, oh, I'm sorry, Janice. You want to talk to me? My bad. My bad. Now, all right. The whole conversation, and look at here. On these Sunday chats, it's just what it's called, a chat. The chat is interactive, which means when I talk to y'all talk back to me. I mean, I'll type it back, and we have an open and honest discussion. No one person know everything about anything we talk about, but when you have an open and honest conversation, then you get the knowledge people got, and you get the experience that people got from growing some of the stuff or doing some of the stuff we talk about on Sunday chat. You know what I mean? So just so we have a clear understanding about what these lives are all about. It's an interactive way for us to have an open and honest conversation. You agree with that, Q?
I agree with that. These lives are amazing.
My tiny garden say my Broke Farm, our garden community needs a name. We do. I call it the gardening universe.
Yeah,
That's what I call it.
I mean, you pretty
Because
much call it what you want, as long
yeah,
as it's something positive towards the community, right? I mean,
exactly. I mean, you can call you can call. Matter of fact, it's a lot of different names. A lot of different creators in this community call it different things. I like the garden universe because it don't limit. Because we have people in this community from Africa, Australia, Canada, the UK. You know what I mean? I think I got some guy growing on Mars that was asking about some Carrabba the other day. So you never know. You never know. Creative Girl Homestead say, "Hey, everyone coming in. If I type individual names, I'll miss someone. Shout out to everyone." Well put. Well put. You can't miss nobody like that. Tiffany Gray in the building, the garden version.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's
nice.
wifey.
That's
What's
nice.
yeah, the
And that's
garden.
part of Lioncrest family garden right there. The other
Yep.
half, the smart half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you said it, and it's true.
Look at here. Ooh, broke university. No, look. No, definitely don't need to be broke university. I thought their team name has been changed to catch up because Amos Avengers are taking this W. Wow.
Oh wow! Oh, shots
Wow.
fired.
Look, Canadian. Sometimes you can go out of bounds. This ain't one of the time. Look, I'll allow it.
God, dog.
No, I'm just kidding. This is just fun. African Dreamer. Hey, broken all in the chat. African Dreamer, are you familiar with Farmer Q right here? Lioncrest Family Garden. Good guy to know. I'm telling you, when he get 1 million subscribers, y'all gonna be like, shoot, I should have been watching him from the beginning.
That's
Watch it, Q. Veggie Farm Garden. What's up?
oh hey
Hey, get that no FAQ. I'm sorry.
hey.
F. Smith Welch in the building. Now, we talking about these legumes. Before we get to the benefits of it, I got a little fun fact for you. Now, when I do research, I do all the research too that I can handle. Now, a lot of people don't like to eat beans because they make you how can I put this? Aerate your lower part of your jeans. Is that I don't think they know what that means. Have an odoriferous effect on you. Let's put it that way. Beans contain raffinose. It's spelled RaffinosEQ. I'm definitely ain't pronouncing that right. A type of carbohydrate that's poorly digested by the body. Bacteria in the large intestines break down raffinose, result in gas and bloating. And thus, that's why I just should have said gas. I
Yeah,
should have said gas. But
yeah.
that flatulence. Thank you, Myra McLean. Flatulence. That's a big word I needed.
Isn't there something you could do to the bean to actually make that not happen as much? I mean, it's gonna probably happen in general, something like for people, but I mean, like sometimes when you eat beans, it's not as much of a problem as other times.
And I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with a bean that don't cause gas. If you can make a bean that's not susceptible to diseases and then pests, I'm pretty sure you can intertwine that bean where you don't get gas out of it. I'm just saying, if we're gonna go with these alternate these plants, let's go all the way with it. Let's don't stop now. Let's go all the way and do all the
You gotta
work.
figure out all the perks.
Get it all. Tasha Oshie Groves in the building. I missed somebody else. I'm sorry. No, I think I got everybody. Laura Sanford says soak them overnight. Would that help with the gas?
And that's kind of what I remember something like that being said that actually helps cut down that actual thing with it. So if you soak them for, I guess, overnight, like she's saying, it helps it out.
You know what? I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna see how it work out. If it don't work out, I'm gonna email you.
Well, you got another person, and you got hey, Auntie's Garden, but you got another person, Janice, who says soak them overnight and several times the next day and change the water each time. So apparently the water draws out whatever it is that's causing that to where you can then cook it at some point and not have that effect.
Wow.
Mm. Exactly.
Dude, this is why we have these discussions, man. That's awesome. I would have never known that. Here you go right there. And several times the next day, change the water each time. And your beans won't give you gas. Wow. I am flabbergasted. Okay, cute. Look, if nothing else come out this conversation here we got today, I'm satisfied with that right there, Q. I can take that. I just learned some
Exactly.
big time. Janice D. Hannah in the building said, "Hello, Broke Farming community. I'm a brand new subscriber, and this is my first live experience. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Can everybody in the chat please tell Janice, hey, how you doing? Welcome to the community, and we're glad you're a part of it. And look, we all family here. Nobody know everything. Now, a lot of people know a whole bunch of stuff, like the young fella to my left here, know a whole bunch of stuff, but nobody knows completely everything. So we get together on every other Sunday on this channel, and we have a chat, and we just talk about random subjects. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
So getting back to my list. Oh, here we go. See, now I've heard this one before. A pinch of baking soda. I've heard that.
Okay.
Shirley Weems in the building. Cutting Shelly. Hey, Brook Farm Q. I just want to say hi. Say hi live. How much I love you guys. That sauce. God,
Okay.
she got me. She got me. That sauce is awesome. Okay. All right. Shirley, you got me. You got me.
Hey, well, you said it
The
yourself. You
sauce
said
might
it
be
yourself.
good, but I don't know about awesome. Awesome? Good. Yankee Sister Homestead in the building. If y'all don't know Yankee Sister, she has been in this garden community for a while, and she has recently started her own channel, Yankee Sister Homestead. If you get a minute, go check it out. And when we say, hey, go check these channels out, that don't mean, hey, go over there and subscribe and don't watch no video. That means go over there, pick one video out of her catalog, watch the video, like the video, and comment. If you like her style and how she make videos, then subscribe. That's how it works. Everybody's channel ain't for everybody. But you don't know if it's for you if you don't watch.
Exactly.
Bam. That's all I'm trying to say. The sweet spot say it always bubbles in the water. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? We still talking about beans? What?
I think she talking about that. I think she talking about that sauce.
I thought you talking about the beans.
No, she's talking about baking soda when you put it in the water or something. Probably.
Oh.
I'm just, but that looked funny. It looked funny how she put it up
You know what I mean? Don't act like I'm the weirdo. I think I got everybody. Oh, Food by Faith. Food by Faith garden to table. And her name is exactly what she say in her video. She grow food, she cook food. So from the garden to the table, from the rooter to the tutor of the gardening concept. I guess I said that really weird. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
But-
We caught that little video a few minutes ago.
Hey, look.
Sipping
Q
my-
say that as he sips. As he sips. That's funny. Sorry, y'all. Oh, Sunday Backyard Farmer in the building. If it's Sunday and Sunday Backyard Farmer ain't farming or watching some about garden, something is definitely wrong. So glad to have you in here. Now, going on to the next part.
What's up? What's up?
Now, besides us, as you know, backyard gardeners growing, legumes or beans or peas, however you want to put it, they are also a key ingredient in vegan meat and dairy substitutes. Now, this is a big one for me, somebody who's lactose intolerant, because
I'm
I
lactose
don't
intolerant as well.
Huh?
Lactose intolerant as well.
Welcome to the group, sir. Welcome to the group.
I haven't made the commitment to not actually still eating dairy, but I mean, with that goes back to the flatulence that you were referring to earlier. So we're just gonna keep it at that.
But okay, this all right, y'all. Let's pause for a minute. Let's pause. The story time. Story time. Now, I've known for a while that, I'm lactose intolerant. And it affects everybody. Renee's garden in the building. Glad to have you in here, Renee. Now, it affects everybody a little different. All right. So I went to get a bowl of cereal, and all I had was whole milk in there. But I had some peanut butter Captain Crunch. Now,
Ooh, so you
if,
had you had to get that milk then.
if anybody ever had peanut butter Captain Crunch,
Oh my gosh.
they are delicious. They are delicious. So I
The
commenced to
best.
pour in a bowl. I ate it. Probably the most delicious bowl of cereal I ever had in my life. I should have stopped there. I should have stopped there. I poured another bowl, ate all that. Fast forward 15 minutes later, I was curled up
Oh
on the
man.
sofa, and my wife was patting my chest. Now, for certain people, all right, this is how mine works. I have intense stomach pains for exactly 30 minutes. 30 minutes each time. I have intense stomach pain. I usually drink lemon water, and it helps. All right. But during them 30 minutes, oh my goodness, it feels like somebody got your intestines and they tying them and trying to rip them apart, man. But yeah, that's pretty nasty. I shouldn't have went there.
You got me. Well, you got me beat though, as far as like the because that I don't have like when I was younger, I would have episodes like you're saying where I would literally get on the couch and like curl up, but
Yep.
then feel like I had to stretch out, but then I wanted to curl up because it hurt so bad, but then I felt like I had to stretch out to get it out, and then yeah, I feel you. But that only happened a few times when I was like in my early teens, like preteens, and after that, it just I passed it like literally. So.
Yeah. I'm I don't know. Some people say that it passed. I'm not gonna try it. Brenda Allen in the building. Glad to have you in here, Brenda Allen. Hey, cute. Paul, I want to do one thing. There we go. G Mama, when you get a minute, can you type some in the chat, please? If you don't mind, please. But what's cool about getting back to the dairy substitute, I don't know if people are familiar with soy milk. I drink soy milk sometimes. It's okay. I prefer vanilla almond milk. But for the people who are lactose intolerant, being able to have a dairy substitute is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing because could you imagine never eating another bowl of cereal your whole life? Come on. Now they do have, I think it's called lactate milk without the lactose.
Yeah.
You're rolling the dice on that one, I feel like. But it's good. I mean, and vegan meat, it's a beautiful thing. If you are a vegan, you can never have another hamburger. No, no. Get you an Impossible Waffle, one of them meat burgers, vegetable meat burgers. They are delicious. I eat them all the time. So it just opened up most stuff that we can eat and have. Uh, Now let's get to this point now.
Look, okay. Wait a minute. So I just saw some people start mentioning almond milk, and specifically, I saw Auntie's Garden mention almond milk. Let me say something real quick about, and then Canadian Proud said almond. Okay, there is this. Okay, so there is this chocolate almond milk that I got. I don't know what brand it was. It might have been like Whole Foods or something like that. But this chocolate almond milk, let me tell you, this was literally better than regular chocolate dairy milk. And like I'm a lifelong dairy person, like who's lactose intolerant, but this almond milk made me be like, okay, I don't need dairy no more. And I literally have not had milk since.
Really? It's chocolate almond milk. You eat it in your cereal too?
Because you got to think the chocolate and almond already kind of goes together. So the smoothness of it is just like it's just natural. It's so good.
Now, Renee Garden say, I tried that lactose milk, still tastes the same as regular. Sure do. It's no difference. I couldn't tell the difference. Mara McLean say soy. I drink lactose milk, nuts are not milk. Yeah, they let it go. I had to see. I'll let the comment go ahead. But it say Mara McLean say soy, almond, oat, rice, hemp, anything starchy you can make milk it. Exactly. And Fun fact about that, I'm gonna go a little bit deeper with this one, Q, if you don't mind, sir. I'm gonna go all the way across the street on this. Now, another thing about milk, cow's milk, that I'm kind of turned off by is cow milk is produced by the mother to feed that baby cow. Let's start there. Now, if anybody is familiar with cows, they are the most sluggish, unexercised animals on the planet. They barely move. They graze and boo boo in the same spot. So, why would you want milk that's intended to grow a cow into that?
Like from a logical standpoint, that makes sense.
And
Yeah.
if you want to go deeper, let's go a little deeper here.
Like I honestly think with cows, it's a whole conversation to be had as far as quality of life, as far as what they're exposed to, a lot of things. But I will say that if you're buying milk from the grocery store, the cows that you're getting that milk from, it's not it's not the most worth it milk. Let me just say that it's not gonna like hurt you or nothing like that necessarily. I'm not saying that neither, but I'm saying that they're getting you some nice like almond milk, getting you some nice oat milk, getting you some nice all this other stuff. You can find something that works for you, and I mean, I think that using milk for like cooking certain things and stuff like that, it's hard to replace it unless you really get like kind of chefy with it. But like as far as consuming milk, like just in your regular everyday diet, whether it be like adding to oatmeal, adding to like your coffee or drinking it straight up, you can find some kind of milk alternative to kind of do what you needed to do for you.
Yeah,
'Cause-
and just like Myra put up, it's all kind of different milks now. Now I'm gonna address something. But hold on, let me speak. Short K 39553 in the building. Oh hey, and oh she wasn't even talking to you. Okay. Uh, Danae say, men boys should not drink soy and mess with their
Yeah, and that's why I didn't mention soy. Actually, I didn't say nothing. She mentioned that, so I'll talk on it a little bit. But it actually messes with because everybody has estrogen and testosterone. Obviously, men have more testosterone than estrogen. So when you start taking in a whole bunch of soy as a man, it literally ramps up your estrogen production and makes you have an imbalance. So in essence, it'll start making you kind of have problems. I'm not going to go into those problems, but like it doesn't happen to everybody, but some people are more or less susceptible to it depending on their genetic profile. So you have somebody who might already have a slight estrogen lean in their male, right? But nothing shows because of it. Like they're just a straight up male. They're manly and everything, but then they get on a soy diet, right? And then certain things start happening to them, and then it's like, oh, why did this happen? So it's like that's why you gotta look deeper into what you're talking about and stuff like that if you're talking about alternative milks and everything. But there's different options even despite not having soy on that profile. So
Yeah. That's first off, I did not know that. That is great to know. And I'm gonna stop ordering soft soy espresso from Starbucks now. Food by
hey,
faith.
Veggie Farm Garden, the pharmacist said that men and women should limit soy.
Men and women?
Because I mean, you got to think even if women get more estrogen, even though they have more estrogen, they have so women have testosterone as well. So when you start to make them have more estrogen, that throws off the balance as well. So I think that the soy in general throws off the balancing of our homeostasis, if you will. Like you know what I'm saying? Like homeostasis being like our normal state of being. That's what homeostasis is. Like us just chilling. You know what I'm saying?
Now, and they are said good for the bones. Now that's what they used to say, but they've had studies. I think it was over. I read this over 50-year study. People who drank more milk didn't have less bone fractures or anything like that. So I don't know about that. I think that's just something that was. If anybody remember the original food groups, the grains, the milk, the bread, and all that, I think that was just boxed
Pyramid.
the pyramid. Yeah, the pyramid. I don't know if that still stand up to the test of time.
Man, it'll have you sitting somewhere trying to be sitting on a couch somewhere. It'll have because that thing got so many but it doesn't even specify Okay, so it's flawed in a few ways, and I'm not going to make a whole conversation about it and talk about it in a second. But so it has a okay, the carbs are at the bottom, right? And it shows like a big old bracket at the bottom of carbs, and it's like bread, it's like all this other stuff that's like wheat and stuff like that, right? So then
Yep.
it has so then you go up to the top, and then vegetables are above that, meaning, and as you go up, that means the priority should be less, right? That's what the pyramid indicates. So now when you go up to the next level, which is vegetables and meat, and they put it on the same level. So then when you look at the vegetables, they're not telling you that the vegetables are carbohydrates, which are on the same level as the bottom, but they put it up on here on the top because they don't want you to buy vegetables because vegetables are not processed foods. So let's just clear that up real quick. You know, vegetables are carbohydrates, just like the bread and the toast and all that other stuff that we eat. It's just the way that it's a cleaner version of it, and you'll get hungrier faster if you eat that. But it's still what it is. So yeah, that food pyramid just blows my mind.
And food by faith say we're the only species that consumes someone else's milk. That's my other point. No other species drink. Well, I take that back. I take that back because in certain instances, if an animal, like in the zoo, parents die, other animals will provide milk for different species of animals. So, eh, my Renaissance grandma in the building. Say, yep, and during the milking process, yeah, I'm gonna pass by this one. I'm just gonna pass this. I feel like I'm gonna start joking about it. I don't even want to. My tiny garden said, "Do you eat beef?" Yes, I do. I do eat beef. Don't eat pork, but I do eat beef.
Yeah, trying to bring that down. Trying to ratchet it down though. My consumption of beef actually, but you
No,
know,
it's hard to digest. Brantley Garner said, "Hi Ricky, hi chat, how's it going? Finally got my Sunday video up. Now I can play. Aha! Come play then. Let's play in the chat. Micro Farmer in the building. Part
what's
of
up? What's up?
these guys here. And look,
Well,
I'm not.
hey, where was Micro Farmer at with his hoodie, man?
No, he was at the meeting. He had some business to take care of. He
Oh,
was
okay,
definitely at
okay,
the
okay.
meeting.
I'm,
And
I'm
you
just
see,
I'm just messing with him. I'm just messing with him. I'm just messing with him.
if you just see all the videos, he in one of the snapshots. And look, if you don't know what we're talking about, we have a friendly competition called MIG Grow Off 2022. Me, myself, I said me and myself. My bad. Myself, Q, Turf Therapy, and the great Eco Neighbor are liaisons for teams, and we're just having a friendly contest trying to grow as much stuff. And we started in the winter because a lot of people stopped growing in the winter. So we want to encourage people to keep growing, and we want to be a part of that. So when you hear me referring to Q team or my team, that's what we're doing. It's all in good fun.
So you want to know something weird? You want to take like a 2 second detour and then go right back to the
Oh,
conversation
yeah.
that we're talking about the beans.
Q, you said, do I want to go across the street for a minute? Of course I
Okay,
do.
so check this out, right? You remember all those plants that I planted for the spring and stuff like that, and I'm getting ready to put outside when it comes time to put it outside in the spring, right?
Yeah.
So tell me why everything is doing great except for every single tomato plant. The soil is all the same, but and obviously it's a soil mix out of bag soil that I mixed up and added a few amendments to it and stuff like that. Let it sit for a while, but I used it. The peppers are wonderful. All the eggplants are wonderful, but every single tomato is they're
Different
growing,
variety.
they're recovering and stuff, but and they're different varieties as well. They're different varieties of tomatoes, but every single tomato of every single variety has like yellowing, and it's like it's growing vertically, and they're taller than all the peppers, but they're just like yellowed out, and they're just kind of like they're greening at the new growth, so they're coming back, but they grew and got taller being yellow. It was crazy.
Really?
And then as time, like, so not the stem are the norm is the normal color, but the leaf, like the leaflets on the plant, it's like yellow looking, and
You
it's
got them
like,
under the same grow light?
yeah, everything's in the same condition, same environment.
Really?
Yep.
It's
And that's
something.
what I'm saying. Like the peppers, I got some peppers that were kind of growing lanky, like so I topped them, and all the new growth on the peppers are growing really strong. Where I topped them, and all the new growth on the margins are growing in and stuff. And then the ones that I didn't top, the Sugar Rush Cream Pepper, one of them, like they're growing super strong. They got new growth, no marks on the leaves, nothing like that.
I
But
don't think I hear people talking about pinching peppers all the time. I don't think I'm gonna do it. I just don't. Look, I've
hey,
only grown peppers one time. And for who
stake,
don't know,
hey, stake up though, stake up. Make sure you stake up well, because if you don't do that, you're gonna end up with a situation where your pepper might fall over. So just make sure
you
that
do
like if
know
you
that.
get like a really tall pepper and it has a really long stem, even if the stem is strong, you got to think about the center of gravity. When a plant is shorter, it has a better center of gravity. So think about people like a really tall person, such as yourself. You're not really tall, but you're tall, right? So like
I'm
if
popular.
you're 5'11", so just think about if somebody who was 5 feet tall was standing in the wind and the wind was blowing at 75 miles per hour. Who do you think would be more effective, the 5 foot tall person or you?
You kind of brought that home, that big guy. You kind of brought that home. Hey, look, that made sense to me. Look, AJ's Green Thumb LLC. What's up? Oh, he ain't even talking. AJ, hey, look, that blueberry bed video I did, that was based off the great beds you make. Now mine look nothing like yours, but I gotta start somewhere. So shouts out to AJ Green Thumb. He is doing some major things over there. Also, I'm planting some flowers this year. It wasn't because of AJ, but I'm giving him credit for that too. You know what I mean? Might as well.
AJ I'll say this right now, and I will say it on camera in front of everybody, and it's nothing to shame to say. I'm just saying it, being extra about it. But he is my inspiration to want to grow flowers.
Yeah.
Like, I literally look at his Instagram pictures and I look at his videos and I listen to how he talks about every single flower variety that he grows. And I look at the techniques that he uses to start his flowers from seed. And I'm like, this guy is literally the father to his plants, like on every single level right now. Like, and it makes me want to grow flowers, bro, because it's like, it's such a delicate process and he ends up with such a beautiful product every single time. So check it out, y'all.
Dude, I love how he make his beds, dude. He sit there and he gets
Oh
spray
my
paint
gosh.
and he spray paint out his beds and just brick them in. I'm like, oh my good. And he know every flower in his yard. And if he don't, he'll say something. He'll be close, and then he'll write it at the bottom. Hey, look, dude, that cat
Props.
awesome. Santisha in the building. Glad to have you here. Say hello, Broke Farming, everyone. Uh, whole new perspective in the building. Glad to have you in here. AJ said, you guys are too kind. Thank you, brother Q and bro. Dude, that's facts. We ain't just being kind. Microphone say, well, I would like to pay my respects to that South team for the loss of the MIG grow off, but y'all had one of the best teachers in the game. LOL. I was a student of y'all leader team that South. Now, microphone. Look, microphone.
Hey, you're trying to write a eulogy for us over here while
Look,
giving
microphone. You on the
weirdest
edge now.
props ever, man. That is like some super great props, but at the same time trying to like, it's like, when you got a kid, when you got a little baby and you like tucking them in for bed, right? He ain't tucking us in for bed. It's like he trying to bury us and then tuck us in the soil with our headstone he gonna put over us right now. That's the kind of props he giving us right now.
Now, microphone, you know you close to the edge, but guess what? Out loud. You right about. You right about. Hey, Rambo Greenhand say, Q, maybe it's too much water.
Hey, and like, okay, so I'll say this, Rambo. Like, I use as my base, and I think you're right, Rambo. But I'm gonna sit here and tell you this as well. I use as my base Sunshine Mix number 4, which is like, no, okay, so it's like Pro Mix. Basically, I use like Pro Mix with the mycorrhizae and like the coconut coir and the peat moss mixture to kind of make it fluffy with the perlite in it. That was my base, and then I mixed in some Happy Frog and some Ocean Forest with a few amendments, like some BioLive from Back to Earth or whatever it is, the boxes and stuff. But that's what I did I pushed the watering, but I didn't over water like that. Like I just kind of pushed it just a little bit. But I think you're right though, because them tomatoes be sensitive to that kind of stuff. So especially when they're little. So
Hey,
I might just start.
What you talking about?
Oh,
look who we got to the
What you
left
talking
here.
about?
Sir? Do you know this cat?
hey,
You know this
hey,
guy?
that's 3K over there. That's 3K over there. That's turf. That's turf there. Turf, also known as Turf 3000. Let's get it.
Turf
I done
therapy.
been here
also.
before.
Whoop, whoop, what's up, bitch? Shit. Now, Turf,
What's up,
you late to
Lydia?
the party, we talking about legumes, you know, and I think, you know, we get into the benefits of having them and going in a little detail about it.
So what y'all done covered so far?
What they are. Oh, and a fun fact, we also covered why they give you gas, and we went through ways that eliminated the beans from giving you gas. Courtesy of the
soaking them?
chat.
Yep. He
If
came
you
in.
soak them too long, you'll ferment them now. Just keep that in mind.
Man, see, this is 3,000, y'all. Like we went over this whole conversation. He just dropped it like it was just he went to his memory bank and he was like, oh, okay, let me get this 2 kilobyte of information and just drop it on y'all real quick. Like
I just walked off from it. Just walked out. Hey, look, Q, he say, look, y'all take that.
So were y'all talking about them in the aspects of like them being able to feed the soil as well?
That was you are 100% on the money because that was the next topic we were gonna get into. How do they work for the soil? Now,
one thing that we did that Broke did bring up, he was like, he said that he thinks that peanuts and soy are the best two nitrogen fixers that are out there, and he said he was 86% on that. And I don't know about it myself, but I'm just we gonna be asking you.
Soy for your more balanced every kind of scenario. Now I know a lot of people, they probably don't like to eat soy, and it's not really the best thing, especially for young men to be consuming soy because
we covered that also.
Okay, well, my bad. Let me not waste your
No,
time.
it's not bad. It's not bad. This is so awesome because it's
cool
resonance, bro. That's like resonance, bro.
But with soy, it's probably one of the most underrated cover crops, and I guess it bleeds into your third topic of a lot of people have a misconception that you plant a legume in the soil in your soil, and that it will be feeding nitrogen to the nearby plants immediately, and that's not actually how that works. What happens is while it's growing, it's actually using all that nitrogen for its own growth. Now, the best thing to do once you get done growing anything in that family is to not pull up the roots, because when we talk about microbial life having a symbiotic relationship with the roots in the ground, when you pull up those roots, all of the nitrogen that's being released off of those roots, or nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus, it's gone. Whereas if you just chop the plant down, like let's say that's your last crop that you put in the ground before winter comes, so like you use it as a fall crop, a nice fall crop, you chop all of the heads of the plants off, you give it a nice heavy mulching, then what happens? All of those nutrients that were being held in the root system, then it releases into the soil. So like one of a real good practices is like grow corn in one place. Then when it's time to harvest the corn, you harvest your corn and then you plant soybeans. And you plant soybeans in the same place where you where you had that corn. Why? Because corn is a super heavy feeder. Or brassicas that come to a bulbing that create like some type of like broccoli and stuff like that. Then once it grows, then you chop it and then you let it release all those nutrients back into the soil. So that's the best way to use those. But you don't get the access to those nutrients right away because the plant's using those nutrients. It's not until after the plant's done and you leave the roots into the ground to where the soil can benefit from all the nutrients it's been packing in its roots.
So you go ahead, bro.
No. I was just gonna say. I mean, and I had that misconception, the exact misconception you spoke about. I had that. I only found that out probably a month ago because you hear people talk about it, but nobody really go into depth about it. You know what I mean? And since it puts so much nitrogen back into your soil, I mean, we use a lot of nitrogen-based fertilizers, and that's another easy way to get more nitrogen in your soil. So if we're trying to build a soil up, that's a pretty good thing. You know what I mean? What you gonna
Yeah.
say, Pete?
So
Yeah,
I
and the
got,
reason
so I
oh,
got,
my bad.
so it's cool. It's cool. I got two things to kind of add on to what Turf was saying. So I was gonna ask you something, Turf, and I was gonna say something. So I guess kind of I don't know, whatever. Interpret it how you will. So do you think that a bigger bean plant will give you more nitrogen in the spot in which it's grown when you chop it at the root, like you're saying?
Whoa. Because
I
I got
would
the Christmas pole lima beans from you, which are huge. That's a great question.
uh maybe not, right? Because the soybean plant, the soybeans themselves, they're not the biggest of the beans. I don't know if the size and correlate. You would think that it would, but
Because of
then
mineral
and I wanted to clarify the soy. I think the soybean is the best because of its analysis that comes off of it naturally.
like weight for weight, right? Like pound for pound, right?
Pound for pound, and the amount that you need to grow it. And then once it releases, it's like a 7.62, 7.64, something like that. I think you get the more bang for your buck with
And,
that
and
particular
balance as well. It's
plant.
You got
balance.
7 nitrogen?
It's better.
So
What's that? Huh?
nitrogen
7%.
7?
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
7%. Let me. I got it in my notes right here. So let me just. I'm gonna be able to fact check myself real quick. Just give
well,
me
and,
two
Okay.
and
ticks.
and I got the other thing too, though. Like and we bubbling it up right now. It's bubbling in the water, as the sweet spot would say right now. So so I was kind of reading this thing that was saying that basically if you can provide more carbohydrates to plants that are nitrogen fixing root systems, the rhizobacteria will actually end up being more developed and releasing more nitrogen into the actual environment when the root system breaks down because because think about it. So when you're feeding a bean plant, you're not giving it just straight nitrogen, right? Like it's sequestering its own nitrogen. So what there has to be something that it's actually using as a fuel source though. And that's the thing that people aren't thinking about either. So like these sugars and not going crazy, but if you can get the right sugar balance right, you can actually drive your microbials, your legume fixing, like your nitrogen fixing microbials into a different state. And I was reading something about this, and this was like a study kind of a read, but like I was really interested in that because it's like you think about anything in life has a fuel source. Nothing comes from nothing. And then nitrogen in the atmosphere, to pull it from the atmosphere, it has to have something to drive that process, right?
Yep. And that's what makes them so good. If you're wondering why that particular family is such sought after for nitrogen mostly, and by the way, the soy is a 712, so I was a little off there, but close enough.
Ooh.
That's a dope
Um,
mix though.
they have a
gotta take these notes.
particular. They're particularly really good of pulling nitrogen, free nitrogen out of the air, and then storing it in their root system and using it as needed. That's what makes them different or sets them apart from the brassica family. You know, the brassica family doesn't do as of a good job as the legume family of pulling free nitrogen sources out of the air, storing it in this root system, and using it when it needs it.
So the brassica does that as well?
All plants do it to some extent.
Okay.
You're pulling they're pulling free sources of nitrogen and it exists on
Yeah.
its own. Rain, you get a nice little rain shower, you got nitrogen that's going to fall that like their minute amount. Comfrey, everyone loves comfrey. Comfrey has a very balanced ratio of 0.25 NPK
The
across the
fact that we
board.
get foliar feed in general, that speaks volumes to what you're saying in general too. Like
Mhm.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
mustards are. Better running low. But some people use mustards for a cover crop also.
Germans do. When I did the sugar beets video, but you can use mustards for different reasons, like for pest control, right? They're really good at I think it's like warding off. If you're growing like a whole bunch of root vegetables in one area, you can come behind it with mustards, and that keeps your nematode population down or something like that. And that's based off a chemical that's being released from those roots, because when they go to harvest it, they leave the roots in the ground.
It does.
So there's different reasons of using different crops, and here in Germany, that's one of the reasons why they use the mustard. On top of that, they're more hardier. You keep something living in the ground throughout the entire season of the winter, because the particular mustard they put in the ground, it can withstand the cold weather, and the plant doesn't die. So as long as you get established before you get into the winter, the plant it doesn't do much growing, if any at all, but it stays as a nice cover crop and has a root structure that's, symbiotic relationship between those microorganisms. Your soil is getting better over the winter. Everything slows down. Nothing really dies. It just slows down. That's why they're able to like thaw out a piece of a glacier from 2 million years ago, and there's like life inside of it. It's because it didn't really die. It just slowed down to the point of like it was almost frozen in time. We see those articles all the time. So it's the same thing that's happening in your soil.
Okay. And turf. Okay, you go ahead, bro.
Now I just want to. Now we up here talking to this guy, and we getting knowledge out. But do we know who this guy is? This is turf therapy. Now, if you're unfamiliar with who turf therapy is, he is he's part of the lawn community, and he's part of the gardening community. Now, with spring rolling around, you might want to go over there and check up and see what you can do for your lawn. Might be a good idea. And not only once he moved out to Germany, he's got a raised, you know what? I'm not going to tell you. He got a short video up. He probably got one of the biggest galvanized raised beds I've ever seen on YouTube history.
Yeah,
I haven't watched all the videos on YouTube, but I'm thinking it's the biggest one in YouTube history. So check him out, dude. You see, he giving away free knowledge. Free knowledge. Check his channel out. I'm not saying subscribe, but go over there.
Yeah, watch 3 videos before you subscribe. Watch 3. I do it all too. Don't I do everything from canning to making wine to doing my own worm castings to gardening to lawn care. Stacy, to answer your question real quick, the best time to harvest, you want to get, so unless you're just growing a crop that's just a cover crop that you don't ever intend on eating, you want to let the plant give you all it can give. And even if you're not eating it, lest we talk about saving seeds, right? So like you're not going to eat the soy. You have no interest in eating the soy, but why not let it flower, go to seed and all of that, then harvest your seeds and then chop the plant down. And really you should be timing it around a point that makes sense. Like I said, the Germans, they use the mustard and they time it around the harvest of the sugar beets and then also getting it in the ground to get established before the winter gets here. So like I said, with the corn, you can find something that you're going to harvest, and right when you're harvesting it, you still have time to plant something else in there, whether it be a crop rotation that you're actually going to eat or a crop rotation that you're just using to keep some type of roots in the soil structure itself. So it's really up to you, but you want to think that out. Like, why are you doing it? What is the point in it? And then go from there. And then you can also get outside of all of that and just use it as a crop rotation tool. So like you grow corn in one space one year, and then the next year you grow it over there where you had your peas growing, because you know that, okay, coming out of winter, I had peas there at the end of the fall. I chopped them off, chopped and dropped them, whatever I did, cover them with a nice heavy mulch. So now I want to put my corn here, or just a heavy feeder, or maybe it's just lettuce, who knows, something that only needs nitrogen and you don't have to even feed it anything. Now it can just ride off of the natural stuff that's in there. So like you got to get creative, understand what it is you're trying to achieve, and then go from there.
Okay. And so
that's why I rock with this guy. I like that guy.
And turf, and you gotta have the whole picture. And to touch on your point earlier about like the plant needing to actually be complete, right? So like the root system in the plant to be complete, like you're talking about the soybeans and like how it had the best pound for pound breakdown, right? Mm-hmm. And I was talking about how it needed to have a fuel source to actually drive that process, where I'm wondering, I'm like sitting here because you said they plant the beets are planted, and the only thing that's taking completely away is corn. Like it's just not really giving nothing back from a standpoint of growing in the soil. So the beets check that out though. Like before you even mentioned the beets, I was like, I read this thing about the sugar, and like, so you were talking about only putting back what needs to be there. Well, I'm not talking about like just pouring sugar on the soil to a high degree, but like it makes you wonder, right? If you have the right legume balance, the right bean balance in your soil to actually replenish that nitrogen naturally, like would you actually put the, like, because when molasses with growing and things like that, right? So people use dried molasses and they're using it in the situation in certain situations, and it makes you wonder, like
Could you
it's like
use that molasses that cooks off of the sugar and then feed the microorganisms? Is that what you're working around to?
yeah, but
Absolutely.
specifically in the sense of actually being like
Get rid of
purposeful with it. You know what I mean?
the drive the more nitrogen in it to release
Exactly.
once it's out.
Because there's not going to be, I wonder, I don't think there's like so much of an overabundance. Like I was talking about, I'm not trying to like get to a point where you're getting like steroid nitrogen levels, like, oh, you're getting more than what is
It
supposed to
wouldn't.
naturally.
Nature won't do that on its own anyway.
And that's what I'm saying. So if there's a deficiency of that thing though, it won't get to the point where it will get to its natural production. So now at this point, you're looking to be like the shepherd, the literal shepherd of the soil at that point, to get it
That's
exactly.
our job. That's our job. That was our whole purpose. He put us where? In the garden.
In the garden.
That's where he put us.
Look at that. Look at Turf. I don't know. I know it's pretty late where you at. I don't know if you had a cup of coffee or what. You on the game today. Hey, look, you sewing up loose ends and making friends. Like you doing it.
Yeah, it's still pretty. I mean, it's only 10 here. But, I got done. I've had 3 meetings back to back, and I just got done with that one and rolled into this one. But I wanted to make sure I done missed the last few Sundays. So I wanted to make sure I pulled up and supported the team, man.
Love.
Supported the team.
It's always love. Now, Johnny
what's up, Stacey? Hands in the dirt.
Hands in the dirt.
Yes, I was talking about the mustards that we eat, but sometimes, I mean, especially farmers, they could be growing a mustard that tastes like trash, but it grows well during cool seasons. So that's the reason why they sold it. They don't intend on selling it. They don't intend on harvesting it to eat, but the benefits that it's going to deliver, it's worth sowing that seed. So, but yes, typically you're talking about mustards that you're eating.
Johnny Ransom say, good info. You guys are the IT in the garden. Thank you. Johnny Ransom, I see you also in Georgia. GA, stand up.
GA, stand up.
Glad to have you in here. Now, I'm gonna go to another point about these legumes that make them even easier. A lot of people don't know this. The beans that you get out of grocery store, you can plant those.
You can, but let me. So we were having this. We were having this chat, right? And I hear, and I don't want to tell you this and be like, man. And look, I might trigger alert, right? Trigger alert. Just, when you know better, you do better. Yes, you can absolutely take those beans that are dry beans out of the store and plant them, and most likely get beans in return on them. The thing is, if they're in the store in that package, dry bean package, I just want you to know that if you're one of those people who are like all organic, there is a 99% chance that not only is that bean not organic, it is probably a hybrid as well. Now that we're on that topic, though, I think it's important to understand, like, a lot of people don't want to mess with hybrid stuff, and they don't want to save those seeds, because there's a misconception that you will definitively not get back the same thing from the mother plant, which is true, but the difference in that plant from plant could be a genetic thing that has nothing to do with the taste or look of that plant. It could just be like it doesn't have the cold tolerance or the mildew resistance of the mother plant. So, you love the plumquat, right? Don't you got a plumquat?
No,
you don't.
I got a buddy that got a pluot.
A pluot. That's what a pluot. Yeah. That's a hybrid.
Yeah.
So you have your different varieties of hybrid. You have a hybrid that was intentionally done by man, where you purposely pollinate something else. And then you have your hybrids that happen naturally, like the blocking 14 or the Russian comfrey that is naturally sterile, semi-sterile, unless you take the rhizomes off of the plant and then replant them. The seeds are sterile though, right? So I just throw that out there so you know. I'm not trying
And
to scare you
so
because I would do it. I just want you to know if you're like head fast, I'm only organic, then
and
you probably don't want to do that.
And so the thing about that too, though, is like from a genetic standpoint, even if you're not worried about organics or non-organics and things like that, from a genetic standpoint, hybrids of any kind are meant. So it's meant for it to be an end game of breeding. Like they mean to bring that. Like they want to bring out the best in that last stop of that breeding project we are doing. They're not meaning for you to sit there and like and take it further because they've already worked out all the kinks to that exact point. It's like a snapshot in time. It's like literally taking that seedling. That seed is a snapshot in time of the end of that cultivar's line
Mhm.
to where it will never do anything. I mean, if you took it and you planted thousands of this seeds and you took 4 years and you bred the perfect plants to get down to exactly where you were, you might get back to something close, but you will never get back to that genetic parent.
Right. Right. And that's when you'll see the F1 near a hybrid. That means it is the root breed. So it's like, okay, this cherry tomato is a hybrid, right? And it's an F1 hybrid. And what that means is the two the two the two cultivars of tomato seeds that they use to create the hybrid, they return back to the heirloom variety every time to produce those seeds each year for you. So they're not taking the seed of the plant. They're going back to, let's say, purple Cherokee and the black beauty, and they're making whatever, the broke tomato, right? Let's say he made his hybrid, and that's the hybrid. And then every year has an F1 on it, the letter F and the number one. Every year that Broke sells you those hybrid seeds, he plants black beauties and the purple Cherokee, and he hand pollinate, which is why they're more expensive, right? Because it's a very meticulous process. It is, in fact, trigger warning, GMOing the most natural way possible. So when you get into GMO seeds, that is when someone has gone into the DNA structure of these seeds and it has physically made changes either by taking something out or putting something in. Whereas when you're just doing it through pollination or you're splicing two different fruit trees together of different species to create something new, that's called hybridization. Those are, just the category.
Shooting the
But
dice.
now look, okay. Since we there, let's go all the way with it then. Now, the current tomatoes that we eat at the grocery store right now,
Yeah,
most of the fruit and vegetables that we get at the grocery store, that is not the original plant.
absolutely not.
The cucumbers.
Sometimes a lot of them are clones. They're clones of.
The original cucumbers. I can't remember what I was watching this say. It was a whole video. But original tomatoes were this big. The original tomato plants were this big.
Like you're talking about like the first tomatoes in nature or something like that.
Yes.
And they're probably poisonous too.
Yeah.
Based off region, yeah. Based off regions, right? Yeah. People they call the reason why they're of the the nightshade family is because it took a while for people to realize which ones to eat without dying.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of people look at hybrids as a bad thing. But any vegetable you get from the grocery store is not the original plant that God put on earth.
It's some form of a hybrid. They get a bad rap, and it's just because of the disinformation. I won't say misinformation, is closer to disinformation, where people a person hears or reads a piece of a certain thing and then doesn't continue reading pages 6, 7, 8. I mean, they do it with our videos all the time, all the content creators. When you're trying to make a point in the video, right? And then like the 3-minute mark, you haven't finished making your point, but the person stops and they don't finish watching the video. So you only get the half of the story. This is the same thing that happens within these topics. And it's nothing wrong with, look, hybridization happens naturally all the time within nature. It happens on its own. We just feel better about it when it happens in nature. And to be honest, I feel better about it when it happens in nature because trust nature over man, right? but when man figures some things out, of course it wants to try its hand at being like him. And sometimes we come close, but we usually always fall short.
The only reason I bring that up because people make such a big deal out of hybrids and hybrids, but no, original cucumbers wasn't that big. You know what I mean? A whole bunch of things went into it to make that cucumber big, to make those tomatoes big. We overlook that and we eat that nice salad. But we have to turn those up at you know what I'm saying? Hybrid seed we see at Lowe's.
Yeah.
So the ones at Kroger good enough for you, but I don't want no hybrid seeds from Lowe's.
Well, I take it a step further.
Can I add something real quick though?
Yeah, go for it.
So this might blow some people's minds here to really think about it from a.
That's how we doing it. They blowing mine. Go ahead.
But you think every single heirloom that you get is a hybrid that has been stabilized.
Yes, it's reached its stabilization point in life. Like it's not changing anymore. It is true to its seed every single time because whatever happened is just stuck there. It's just frozen in time.
Yeah.
Take your time with this one, Q. I like where you going with this one. Take your time. Take your time.
Well, okay. I'll add one more caveat to it, and then because Turf was about to say something. So the heirlooms that you grow, there's a chance that you could grow the same heirlooms, and you can have one that sticks out that kind of starts to drift away from the heirloom. But this one that's drifting away is close enough to the heirloom that if you took that seed and you bred it further, you would get a more superior plant. But that is only you taking the step of the truing the seed even further.
Yeah, we can create our own heirlooms. Correct, Stacy? You think that whomever determines what an heirloom is, because I was like, who determines what an heirloom is? And to Stacy's point right there, he says, my understanding, heirloom have been established for a certain period of time. That's it. We've tracked the history. We know where it comes from, and it repeats the same habits of the mother plant each single time. So what's that to stop Q's Mississippi watermelon that repeated itself in its habits for the next 10 years? What's stopping Q from saying this is an heirloom? Who's the beholder of that? There go my girl right there, Tasha. Yeah, I like Tasha.
Oh, she grows. Appreciate that. Big 10. Look here. You know what your boy Bro can do with it. You
Yeah, but what I was about to say was, I think, and I'm going to say this not to hurt anyone's feelings, but I want you to open up your mind, and I want you to not be restrictive to yourself when you're in the garden this year, right? You remember when gluten-free stuff was like all the rage? Remember that? Remember when they was putting like gluten-free labels on rice? And if you knew what gluten was, a byproduct of wheat, like it's a protein in wheat, why other than letting me know that rice was processed in the facility that wheat wasn't processed in, they were putting gluten-free on everything that shouldn't have had gluten in it to begin with. Maybe on the back, you should have always been reading saying, hey, warning, this was produced, and you'll see it on the back of all types of stuff. This was processed in a facility that also processes wheat, this, and that. And they've been doing that well before the gluten crave and raise, because it was important to the people that had these gluten sensitivities, these food allergies that they knew about before it became this whole big marketing push. I feel like we have arrived there with organic labeling as well, right? Because a product has organic on it does not mean it's a quality product. I think Dan Permaculture Food Forces said, yeah, you're going to use that organic fertilizer, that bone meal, but where did all those bones come from? Right? And then if you box yourself into an organic only corner without truly understanding what it means and knowing what you're looking for on these labels, I'd ask you, for the men, what kind of deodorant do you use? Degree? What kind of soap do you use? I bet you use Irish Spring.
I use I use this like a bar. So it's like a big bar, but it's like it's natural or whatever. But
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I use
Yeah.
Dr. Bronner's too. But yeah.
What kind of toothpaste you using?
Oh yeah.
Black charcoal.
That's where we
Oh,
start.
you,
So and that's where broke. Okay, we opposites then. I'm
so
using
so
natural soap and he using.
Yeah.
so my point is, and then I can switch it to the females. Y'all can get it too. Are you beating your face? Are you beating your face every Saturday? Getting fly? Going to see? I mean, is it natural? Is it organic? So like you won't put it in you, but you'll put it on the largest organ of your body, which is your skin. So I just want you to be consistent across the board and be fair to yourself. You know, so there's just some things that, you know, hey, go look through your cabinet, read the back of that stuff.
There are things that
Um,
are true and proven, and there are things that have been taught to you to perceive in a certain way to where it's advantageous to a consumer driven market. Let's just put it like that, because like sodium lauryl sulfate or whatever the crap's called, the stuff in all the regular soaps that you buy, like no one thinks about what it does to your skin and how it doesn't do good things for your skin. But we'll put that on us willfully, but then we'll sit here and be like, oh, like I don't want to use synthetic fertilizers in my potted plant or something that or something like whatever they want to say, like in my garden or whatever, and like it's all about balance. And like even that soap that you're using, like it's not going to kill you. You see, obviously you've been using it for a while.
G
So
Mama Grows is funny.
I'm on the other end of the spectrum. Even though I agree with her, I try to be as organic as the bag allow me to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. All I can go by is what the bags say.
Yeah.
Now I wasn't there when none of that stuff was produced, so I'm organic according to the bag.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's as real as I can be.
And I think that's fair. I just think for the people, we got organic police out there that almost make people feel bad or less than gardeners for not being organic like them. And then those same people are hypocritical in some ways. And I don't know if it's on purpose or if it's due to ignorance. So I just put that out there to, if someone comes at you like that, ask them about themselves. You know, now I done loaded up your weapon for them people that try to come and fool you. They try to fool you. Now you got something to kick back at them. You know, just like, hey, when you go to the grocery store, I see you buying Twinkies. That ain't organic. It's just like you still putting it in your body. You love you some Snickers, don't you? You drinking about 12 Mountain Dews a day. No.
bro, I'm gonna be real with you though. You know those pictures that I was sending of those donuts and stuff like that, right? So like I took a bite of one donut, was chewing on it, and then it just felt so like it legit just felt wrong. Like not even from a standpoint of like getting fat or nothing like that. Just like the quality of the food. I'm sitting here eating it, and I'm like, oh, it just makes me feel cringe eating it because I know what they did to make that food. And this is the thing. We're talking about quality versus non-quality. Like you have to think about it like that, and you have to really like weigh what actually means quality, because I feel like there should be a quality assurance stamp as opposed to an organic stamp, because
I'm with that. I'm with that because that means more.
yeah,
That means more.
And the only reason some things ain't considered organic because it's a process. It's a process.
Yeah, it's been processed.
A lot of money to get certified organic.
Oh,
So
you mean
some
to get the Omri labeled stamps and stuff like that? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like your FDA approved stuff. You have to do all these studies on your own independently as a company, right? It's not the USD or the FDA going out and doing the inspections and studies for you. No, you have to hold all these trials, which cost millions of dollars. And then once you finally get done with the trials, you submit that information for your identifier, your stamp from the FDA. Or yeah, that's how that works. You get a USDA stamp for your chicken because they have a USDA agent in the processing facility that's supposed to be inspecting the line. But what if that person don't care? What if they halfway doing their job? Do you still get the USDA stamp?
and
Yes,
and broke you
because
just
they were physically present.
Why are you working that job if you need to enjoy where you're working? Like these people like a lot of.
But how many times they done messed up your meal at Chick-fil-A? Okay, all right.
Don't bring it up. No, not Chick-fil-A. No, not Chick-fil-A. Other restaurant. Chick-fil-A.
Well, Chick-fil-A usually get it right. You're right. And if they don't get it right, you get the next 3 meals free. So
and they say have a blessed day. Jeez. Look. But,
those are the most respectful teenagers I have ever met. I'm like,
respectful.
man.
I just feel like they were raised right. Anyway.
Like I need my kid. I need a kid. I need a Chick-fil-A kid kind of kid.
Look, I would let my little girl work at Chick-fil-A. Real talk.
So okay,
I needed to go there for some values.
So about what Unicorn Lady Tech says that you got linked right here, I want to touch on that for a second here. Like, okay, so think about it like this, Unicorn Lady Tech. Okay, so I'm gonna use some like terminology that's not common, but for the understanding, and you'll get what I'm saying when I say this. So the dehybridization into heirloomness is a progressionary process. So like when you have a hybrid and a baby of it, it just can't become an heirloom. But yes, it can become an heirloom over a gradual period of time that has been put into it to create what you're looking for out of those genetics. So that question is double-ended, and I wanted to really dive into it a little bit because I didn't want people to like look at it and be like, oh man, like, you know.
And heirloom don't mean organic either. Those are two different things too.
Ooh.
I can put all types of pesticides and herbicides on the heirloom plant, and then save the seeds and sell them to you again.
Ooh. But look now,
they might be doing it. Who knows? I know a couple companies out there that sells a whole bunch of heirloom stuff, and very rarely do I see organic labeling claimed.
See, and I'm glad you say that because I'm a organic thumper. So I'm gonna speak from the other side.
I know I'm picking on you, bro. The whole time.
Look, that's why I got to put my Duke. So I feel like I'm getting jabbed, and I ain't got no comeback to it.
The gloves on, bro.
I'm just talking. But I mean, for somebody that looks for the organic, like I say, I'm an organic by the bag gardener.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you got to look at the ingredients and hope for the best. I'm gonna be real with you. You don't know what's going on in that plant. Baker Creek, I've never. Matter of fact, I don't even know if I looked for the organic tag on Baker Creek because I just understood in my mind that the heirloom seed should be organic. I've never took a one moment to even think about it. Never even thought about it.
Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Go to rareseeds.com, and I love this company. Love their seeds. Go there and type in organic. They have an organic section.
Oh yeah.
It's a whole side though.
They have it on True Leaf Market as well.
It's an organic section, and then when you go there and you see how much is there and not there, that'll be your answer.
All right, let me get this one. G Mama Grove said, who knows if my citrus is excellent in a war Satsuma? That's what the label said. I know how to tell what. Put it out in the cold. If it don't die, it's an old war. It's a Satsuma. Satsumas are more cold-hearted than anything else. I can tell you from experience. Facts. If the leaves start dropping at 35 degrees, it ain't a Satsuma.
Let me be clear too, because I don't want nobody coming for our necks. If you use certain fertilizers that aren't organic, then you lose the organic labeling. Like my girl, your girl too. All our girl, it's our cousin, Sam. Sam had a life. She had leaf blight, and I put her on to a copper fungicide that carried an organic label for organic gardening. But there are also copper fungicides that don't have the organic label on there. Now, is it because they did something different that lost that organic label, or is it because they didn't have the money to go through the process of getting the stamp? Who knows? Just read the back of the bag or the back of the label and hope for the best, like Broke said. But I think educating yourself on things that's supposed to, get your spidey senses going and be like, oh, hold up, wait. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what is that? I've never seen that. I think making it a practice of reading the label is a good habit because you'll start seeing things that are different or didn't exist in one product to another. And then you can make educated decisions, making data-driven decisions type
And
things. So,
at the end of the day, if you want to be an organic gardener, all you can do is make the best decisions possible. Because in the end, like anything else in this world, they're gonna get you.
I'll explain to y'all what y'all think organic means. I'm about to okay.
what you think organic is
Okay.
and what it actually is.
So
Pine tree facts. There you
so
go. That's what
organics,
it's turned into.
what y'all think it is because the plant is grown in the most natural way to its standard as it can be grown, it is a better plant than a plant that is grown otherwise. And that is true to a degree, but like you have to really think about it for a second, right? Like if you're trying to grow this plant to be the most natural representation of what it is, your organic processes, you don't have that's going to take a more you're going to have a degree in biochemistry plus also understanding organic processes to truly understand what it takes to get this plant naturally without looking at a soil test, how to get this plant to be like how to get this plant to be exactly what it needs to bone meal, blood meal, all this other stuff that they're selling you. You're going to have to really figure that out like from a oh, and then you're gonna have to time it perfectly. And then you're gonna have to know what these products came from. You're gonna have to know exactly what these animals ate, down to the science of everything to actually determine, hey, this is organic. To my standard of what I'm thinking what this means.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I just
And then
No,
after you did all
you,
that, if you didn't get a soil test, that soil might be contaminated with some inorganics.
yep.
damn. And this is the thing. It's hard out here in these streets, in these gardening streets, trying to be an organic gardener. Let's start there. You
It's
gonna
hard.
slip up. You gonna slip up. So you know what I mean. Just take the losses. Use them as learning lessons.
I think being a responsible gardener, making decisions based off of data or even sometimes just experience is what's more important than chasing labels or tags. You know what I mean? I think that's what's going to take you further. I'm not trying to this whole organic thing because we've been on this for a minute. We supposed to be on legumes, but that was all to say just to put that in. I don't want you wasting money on the label just because that's really what this is about. There are labels out there on trash products. So take the time to read the back of those and keep it moving. When you go to the grocery store, be honest with yourself. 80% of the stuff that you buying is not in the organic section and it don't have an organic label. It don't. And
And
it's been like that.
let's
Well,
get it straight too. Like to the people who say that they won't, and because Pine Tree Hill said, "I'm not testing my dirt," and that's fine. You know, like we're not sitting here coming for you because you're not testing your soil. But what we are saying is,
you're
and
wasting money.
you said it yourself. You said it yourself in that same comment. You said, "I ain't testing my dirt. If it grows, it grows. If it doesn't, then I'll move it or add what the plant needs." So you're doing
But you
that.
don't
You're doing
know
that
what
as
it
a
needs.
response. You're doing that. You're trying to put out a fire in response to something that you saw happen in that season. You're going to be chasing gold. You're going to be chasing fool's gold a little bit when you do that. And I'm not trying to call you out or nothing when I say that. I'm just saying it's hard. How do you honestly? We're not God. You know what I'm saying? We don't know exactly what's going on when we put these amendments in our soil. Like we don't know that stuff. Like we know it's been taught to us and we trust that, but it's like realistically, we have to raise more questions about our processes. You know what I mean?
But
Yeah.
all right, let me say something about this. Now, what Pine Tree Hill just said, this was me last year. You remember that, Turk?
Yeah, I remember that.
This was me last year. I'm not testing no goddamn soil. What's out there, we're gonna grow in it, or it ain't gonna grow. Now, fast forward to this year, and I got a soil test based off that I just wanted to save money. And let's break this down. This whole save money when you get a soil test. You get a soil test, everything, and your soil is good. So while you drowning, fertilizer in it. You know what I mean? Just give it a little according to is it Nebraska? Let's get the nitrogen up every 2 weeks.
But that might not be your problem. Your problem might be your pH.
But
and you're just locked up because everybody think they got clay soil a lot of times too. I think combining hands in the dirt statement along with Pine Tree Hill statement is just if you're going to grow the best way, you're going to grow your food the best way you can. And we're in the 21st century and you're not going to take the time to get a $12 soil test from your local extension office so you can
$8.
have the data. $8 for broke. He want to be clear on that. $8 for broke. Why not? Why are you that's like saying, hey, you about to take this test? Cool. I got the cheat codes over here. You want them? Nah, I'm just going blind. But you ain't study. Yeah, it's cool. If I fail, I'm gonna just go back and take it again. Who does that? Like why would you waste the time? And then when you're putting things out, I could take it a level deeper. When you talk about being a responsible gardener, when you put phosphorus out and it's not necessary, when you put bone meal in the ground and it's not necessary, and you already have an abundance of phosphorus, and you have a water source nearby, let's say a lake that you like to fish in or a pond that you like to fish in, when it runs off into that pond and then creates an algae bloom, and now you don't have any fish or the aquatic life is messed up in there, you've caused a eutrophication process, and now you can't eat fish. And I'm talking about doing something that you can do once for every 3 years, or you can further prove that your techniques work. So I think I just don't understand that logic.
But
To each his own, but I just don't understand. Look, if you were in the Middle East somewhere where you didn't have access to it, if you was in one of these countries that's in the middle of war right now, I get it. You do the best with what you got. But that's like saying, "Oh yeah, I got that car, but I'm gonna just walk everywhere." I don't understand it. Why not put yourself in the best position to win?
now I'm gonna address this. It said,
And people in the Great Depression got soil tests. I don't know why people like this science has been around for a long time.
but even in the Great Depression, and I'm pretty sure your granny grew well because my grandmother also was a gardener. She grew well, but every generation is supposed to learn more and learn more. That's how us as a man, as a people, move forward. You know, I I got to know more than my dad knew. You know what I mean? How can we move forward if we doing the same thing? And that's the only reason that I got into trying to learn some of this other stuff because I don't want to kill plants. I want to raise more plants and get more food for my family cheaper. You know what I mean?
No,
But do you live in a tent? Like if you don't live in a tent, why would you force yourself under conditions to do things in under a tent? And then you know what else your granny didn't have to deal with? She didn't have to deal with as many chemical bleed offs and runoffs that's happening in the world. It was a whole different world in the Great Depression. The
Yeah.
soil was different, the climate was different. So you're telling me that you're trying to use practices from the Great Depression when you have better access to things. Hey, you winning, man.
But
Good for you.
in all honesty, Pine Tree Hill, thank you for your comment because this is an open and honest chat. And
yeah.
I'm so glad that we had an open and honest chat. You know, some people are sitting in the chat, and if it's something they don't agree with, they won't say nothing. But to have an honest conversation, you tell how you feel sometimes.
An honest conversation is open, and even if you don't realize this, and here's the thing, this won't change you either. It might make you, but okay. So if you're willing to have an open conversation with somebody that you disagree with, you're willing to be influenced in some kind of way by that other person. Because if you're not willing to be influenced by them, you would say nothing, as Broke
Yeah.
saying. But
Oh,
you
I'd
know,
argue.
yeah, you're still going to take influence unless you're canceling out the sound from your ears. You know what I'm saying? But like, I think that if you're willing to have the conversation, you're more willing to actually have the influence because at that point you've engaged, you know, in in some kind of dialogue with someone. And here's the thing: it's obvious that no mocking is taking place. So then at that point, it's like now we're trying to just like we're having a struggle with our perspectives of things, right?
And
Grover Hudson has a good question.
is it necessary to do soil tests
It's
when you
it's not necessary to do soil tests at all.
contain?
I want that to be clear. You ain't got to. You do not have to do a soil test. It is not necessary. But when it comes to container gardening, you don't have your plants not in the ground. So things that happen on a natural cycle aren't really going to happen as well in a container. So if you want to, and you're trying to understand like if I'm going to refresh this soil that's in the container,
Uh,
and you want to know what you're going to put in it, it's a good practice to test it every few years. Yeah, I think
And
so.
there's a
I,
method of
I
doing
disagree.
that.
I disagree, sir.
Okay.
Look here. Now, depending on how things grew in that container. Now, if nobody's throwing away dirt these days, dirt high as hell. Nobody's throwing away dirt. So if you had something that failed bad and you don't know why it failed, you might need a soil test. And that's just how I feel.
Well, that's what I said, bro. We disagree. We agree.
You must say it in a different way because I didn't get that.
I don't need a soul test at all. He was just saying basically you don't have to get it. Like it's a choice. It's a choice.
It's a choice. It's not like and then like I was just saying for like a container, like maybe one maybe once every few years. I was just saying every few years because like we were talking about earlier with the whole the reason why we're here, legume, when it comes to the legumes, you can use it as a soil fixer, like a nitrogen fixer. So if you have planted a whole bunch of stuff in the garden and you have not really understood the science behind crop rotation or the technique or old ways or the old school practices of crop rotation, if you don't have a good handle on that and you just want to know where you're at, because when it comes to amending the soil the next year, then getting a soil test every few years is a good idea. Now, if you have something that's consistently failing or has failed, I still like to have the ability to rule things out, right?
So my logic is if broke is paying $8 for a soil test, and some people might pay more than that, let's just make that clear. If you're paying within that margin of price to get a soil test, here's the thing, as well as I do it, because we're gardeners, we'll go and we'll buy this cool fertilizer, you know what I'm saying? Like this, we'll buy this because we know if it's a quality product, we'll just go out and buy it, right? And it might cost us $25 to $30, but and it's gonna use its value, you know what I'm saying? But intrigue my curiosity, you know what I'm saying? If it costs with that margin of price, and who I'm paying the money to, you got to think about this as well. I'm not paying the money to somebody who's gonna like go to a resort off of this money. You know what I'm saying? You have to think about some of these things, that the money trail. You have to follow the money trail with some of this stuff too, because when you're looking at the broad spectrum of economics, they have no benefit to telling you, like they have all the benefit to you knowing what's in your soil and how to make it the best it can be. Like,
no, Tia, it wouldn't. No, that's a good point. I want to hit on Tia's when we get caught up. I want to address something.
But something else. All right, before you address this, I just want to ask you something. If you plant in the ground and you don't get a soil test, can you say you're organic gardener?
I mean, you can call yourself whatever you want, but I mean, to Farmer Q's point, right? Back in the day, we used to just to Canadian Proud Get Outdoors point. These new constructs, you have no idea where that stuff came from and what it was used as. Kicking it old school, we used to change our oil on the front lawn. So your organic soil could be toxic and you not even know it, but your soil test would reveal these things. Now, moving on to Aunt Tia's backyard, I think I will get some tests this year. I can grow beautiful leafy greens, but my root veggies consistently fail. I think it's too much nitrogen in the soil. I highly doubt that. And this is why. Nitrogen is a very volatile nutrient. It doesn't hang around in the soil very long. That's why you have different sources of nitrogen. You have your slow release nitrogen, and then you got your synthetics that fast release sources of nitrogen. And you have your non-organic organics that release. When you get a soil test, usually if it's from a university, it's not even going to have a nitrogen on there because you're supposed to feed nitrogen to a plant by the pound for a season. If you're going to be amending it with things like compost, like Q's, or like a synthetic fertilizer or an organic one based off what else is coming out of the air that the plants are able to get and fixate on its own. So I doubt the issue is with too much nitrogen in the soil. I think you have not enough phosphorus in your soil. You are phosphorus deficient. And I bet when you get that soil test, it's going to tell you either you have too much phosphorus or you have plenty of phosphorus, but your pH is out of whack, which means all those nutrients are locked up.
What zone is Auntie in? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, but
I don't know. Antia?
Tia,
Yeah, I'm not
I
sure.
think she's in 7A. I think.
And I'm just trying to, because like, here's the thing, right? This is why you need. I'm just touching on Turf's point as well too. Like, when if you really want to get into like how your soil is naturally and start to to understand exactly where your soil is and where you are, where you're living, you have to start thinking about the parent rock material of where you're where the slab of rock that you came from broke down into. And you have to think, if it, oh, is this limestone? Is this sandstone? Is this, oh, what is this? Because basically this is going to determine the texture and the structure of your soil, which is going to also determine how long certain nutrients can stay within that soil profile as well. So, like,
Yeah.
if you have a sand-based soil that has
Mhm.
sandstone breakdown in it, your soil is not going to hold on to nitrogen because the phosphorus, because the cation exchange capacity of that soil is going to be low, which means the nutrient transfer of that soil is going to be quick.
Mhm.
It's going to be there and it's going to be gone. With
And you
whereas
can
where I'm at, North Texas, you know what I'm saying, we got that black clay gumbo stuff to where basically, like, to where if you put something in the soil, it's going to be there for 3 weeks.
yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah,
that's a good one. Liquid iron. So iron is
What,
consistently.
oh, hold on. Let me,
Oh, you got
all
this
right.
one, bro?
No, I don't have this one, but I just,
Oh,
because I'm in the midst of learning this stuff now.
yeah.
So, iron is a micronutrient.
Yes.
All right, let's start there. So it's not as important as the macronutrients, the NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium.
I can get
So,
behind that.
in saying that, it's a small percentage of what that plant needs. So, what kind of liquid you mean for grass? Did you
So
buy
no, it actually you can use it in shrubbery and on your grass and on your edibles, right? So the what the misconception with the liquid iron is that iron is really the one that drives the bus as far as the darkness of green that you're having, whether it be in evergreens, your grass, or in your edible lettuce and stuff like that. But it's actually the manganese that rides the bus that they're really takes care of most of that coloring that you're looking for. Is it going to help your plant grow? Debatable, probably not. Like Broke said, it's a micronutrient, but will it be aesthetically? Does it look better? Yes. Now, if you have a deficiency in that micronutrient, it can affect things visually, but as far as the plant still growing with a little bit of NP and K, yeah. But you won't know that unless you get a soil test. So you
I've
just
never
be
seen liquid
or visually. You can see that visually too. That is one thing. Like if you got everything else right and it's still off, you can narrow it down to that.
Now, the micronutrients are boron, manganese, calcium. Um,
So Pine Tree Hill, that's a really good statement. Plants grow without science too. You put a seed in the dirt, keep it wet enough, and the sucker grows. Is actually quite simple. I think that you actually disprove what you said in that statement because it's not growing without science.
yeah,
It's
it's
growing without us. Science is just us understanding nature. Now, what happens in nature, what we label as science, is just understanding what's happening. I mean, that's it, because we're not God. We didn't do it. So we're just trying to figure out how all these things work together. And then how things grow in nature versus how we do it in a controlled environment. Those are two completely different things. Like when you have leaves falling off of the trees onto the ground, creating its own leaf mode, um, trees falling over, um, animals walking through, taking poops on stuff, peeing on things. You don't have that happening in your front and backyard. So when we cut nature out of the process and try to replicate it, we kind of probably want to know what it's doing and then try to replicate it. But I see where you were going there.
well, and you know,
yep.
like okay, so there's a process that's happening, right? I mean, like, yeah, like we put seed, like you could do that. You can put that same seed in 100 different soils, right? Like, and you get 100 different results. Like, because that process is being impacted by whatever's happening in that soil. The only reason why science is so frowned upon by certain people a lot of the times is because there's one of two things, and I'm not going to get too deep into this because we're talking about beans. But
Right. We
one,
forgot.
one, like people refuse to acknowledge that science can explain to a degree, because we never said it can completely explain creation. Like, people refuse to believe that it can explain that to a degree, even, which is it's crazy because there's medicine out there that you take. But we're not going to go into that. But the second part about it is basically, you know what? I forgot the second part. Let's talk about beans, because my mind just completely started to drop when I reminded myself of the conversation we're talking.
Yeah.
What up, Chris White?
So what else we got on beans? Was there any other topics?
The last point was protein. Let's get protein.
Protein. It's a great source of protein.
Because a lot of people think that you need a whole bunch of meat, and I know
Absolutely not.
is a weightlifter, and you need a whole bunch of chicken and beef to pump up. But beans have a lot of proteins in them also. So you can get your nitrogen fix once the plant die, but in the meantime, you can be harvesting protein. And I think you see protein on everything: chicken protein, 16 grams of protein, 24 grams of protein. It's a lot of proteins in beans. So a big argument on people not being vegans is how they gonna get protein in their diet. Yeah. You can get protein in your diet from beans. So don't listen to the weird stuff out here, man. You can get protein from vegetables. You can be a vegan and be a bodybuilder. It's facts. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree.
That was the last point I want to interject. So you can go from the rooter to the tutor using the whole plant. You can't go wrong with these legumes. These legumes will do you right. I'm telling you.
They the number one stars, heroes.
Come on, y'all. It's just that's everything that I wanted to get on topic, and we dove into some great topics. We got some great information, had some great conversations with the chat and the people up here on this live. Look here, man. I had a good time, man. I don't know about y'all.
I had a great
time. I did too, bro.
I learned stuff.
Great conversation.
I felt like people enjoyed it. And look, Maria Jackson said you are 100% correct. So I don't know what else I can do. Look, I felt like we had a full day. I feel like we had an 8-hour talk and chat and discussion.
You know what I could use right now? Some baked beans, boy. Some baked beans.
You better put some baking soda in them.
That's a good point.
You didn't get that.
Spot. I like that.
Somebody was saying that you can put baking soda in beans, keep from having gas.
I like that. That was funny.
Now look.
Oh, you mean like actually when you're cooking them? Yeah, it helps it off gas. Oh, I thought you meant like when you're growing them. I was like,
no, I didn't know that. I had no idea.
But yeah, no. And I think my wife, she was saying, sometimes you get gas from the beans because you actually didn't eat enough of them. Which was, yeah. I mean, I remember we went on the whole. Oh, well, okay. To bring it full circle, like you said, in the beginning, we weren't supposed to be eating flesh. Blood was never supposed to spill. So then, how are we going to get our protein? Exactly. From these plants. And it's not just the beans that have great sources of protein. You got the moringa, aloe vera, packed with protein, and it's a leafy green. It ain't got what you working on over there, bro?
Like the beans sent them to the room?
Right, he acting like the beans sent them to the room real quick. The sweet spot, I like that comment. That was a good comment.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, that's a moringa, baby. And he started her from seed. Look, he proud. He's proud of that. Is it the dwarf? Is it a dwarf or is it a full size variety?
Sir, don't do that.
It's a regular full size then. Because it would have said dwarf. It would have.
You goddamn well. I don't know. Look, you're embarrassing in front of my people. Chill out.
My bad.
My bad. I don't know. I don't know. I've killed so many of them that I really think I'm
just like you killed Amy last year.
You know what's cool, and I think it's worth saying. Let your soil rest too. You don't need to be planting in the soil every single season. Sometimes it's good to let it rest. Hey, on the 7th day he rested, so maybe on the 7th harvest, let the soil rest. you know, because as you continue to do, like, amendments are just that. Even when you're talking about, you know, swapping out your legumes and doing those crop rotations, um, as you build your soil profile, you'll have to put less and less inside of it with good practices, right? So it's not meant for you to continuously amend over and over again with outside things if you are using like store-bought fertilizers. The whole point in those are to get it to a point to where you get to do less. That's from the garden to the lawn to the landscaping. If you foster it and you are a good caretaker of it, it will get into its auto cycle once you get going. Now, if you got one of these 40-year lawns that's been there for 40 years, hasn't been touched or has been maintained properly, you're probably in a really good place already. But for these new constructions where they're taking like subsurface soil and bringing it on the top, scraping off your topsoil and selling it to somebody so they can bag it up and sell it back to you, you got a long way to go because it has been completely flipped on its edges. So I would say, you know, it's okay to let a bed rest every so often. I mean, during the grow season, maybe just don't plant anything over there. Mulch it real heavy. Let the microbes do what it do. Let God do what it do, which is just us understanding what God has put in motion, and just let that thing rest for a season, and then come back to it and plant it next year. You know.
I know.
So
I'm on. I was thinking about doing a rotation of resting these two beds just in the fall. I mean, in the fall and winter. But I'm not resting my beds the whole year. I'm gonna rotate these two beds, rest fall and winter. Then these two gonna rest fall and winter, and I'm gonna go around like that while all of them get a little rest like that. But nah, I
Yeah,
gotta
I mean,
have.
hey, however you let it rest, bro. Hey, I'm talking about land because you know I imagine everybody wants to be growing in their land at some point. But for beds, you know, do what you can do. What you can do, especially when you're in a place where you can grow through the fall and winter. So, like, I can't grow through the fall. Everyone can't grow food through the fall and winter. They could put
Yeah.
crop covers, cover crops in, but they might not necessarily be able to grow through the entire fall and winter. So yeah.
so I got like one like kind of closing, concentrated, hyper focused, simplified thought that I want to kind of share for soil building. And what you just said, Turf, is literally touching on what you just said. Basically, all we're trying to do as gardeners is take, and I'll be blunt about it. I mean, because the world used to be covered by forest. We're taking wood and we're deconstructing it and taking it into base carbon, and then we're building that carbon up to be exactly what the garden needs for our needs to be fed. That
Mm-hmm.
carbon base that we're building, like Turf says, over time, when you're getting, like, that's why we're getting the soil test in the first place, because we're trying to put it back how we found it, or how it was, how it should be before we got there.
Say that
Like,
one more time, King. I
and
was like to hear it in the
when I
background.
say before we got there, I mean when there was trees everywhere, and it was just like years and years of just falling and falling and falling, or whatever there was. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, I don't want to expand on that. I just wanted to stay on course with that.
Of course, look, all my look, Q, all my notes done, but it's free time. This bonus time. This OT, baby. It's like EA Sports, baby. It's in the game, man.
Yeah.
But I think we had a good conversation. I think a lot came out of it.
Yeah.
And let's get to the brass tacks, fellas. If y'all don't mind, let me thank my moderators because this conversation would not go this easy without the moderators keeping up with the chat. I see Best Yet in there, welcoming people in. I see the sweet spot. I see G Mama. Everybody dropping links for people channel that we talking about. Appreciate the mods. If I could afford to pay y'all something, I would send y'all a $20 bill. I guarantee it, no doubt.
You
So
wouldn't be
shout
broke
out to
farmer
this.
no more.
I'll be semi-rich farmer. Uh, Shouts out to the sweet spot, Best Yet Journey, Growing with Hudson, G Mama Groves, Andale Homestead, Canadian Pride Get Outdoors. Did I say Best Yet? Yeah, I said Best Yet. And Eco Neighbors here, and I think, yeah, and Eco Neighbors here. So look, I appreciate all the more for handling y'all business and letting us have a great and awesome conversation like y'all always do. Y'all are killing it, Mars. And I would like to thank my co-host for today, Lion Crest Family Garden. If you ain't watching him on Thursday nights, then you are missing out on something. You missing out on a great talk, a great chat back and forth like this with a lot of great knowledge. A lot of great knowledge. You can't go wrong. And if you catch him on the right Thursday, he have vibe music in there. So you can bob your head and learn. Right? And this is the great world renowned, now in Germany, but known all the way around, nicknamed Turf 3000, nicknamed Turf Therapist, doing this thing in all regions of living life, basically gardening, lawn, wine making. Do you make soap? You know how to make soap?
You know what? I'm gonna add that to my list. Check that out.
And soon to be soap maker, Turf
Appreciate
Therapist.
it.
Go check them out and see what they talking about.
I understand the science behind it. I ain't never did it before though. We're gonna get on some soap.
Now it's 69 people in here. If you got anything from what either one of these people just broke down for you, then you should go over there. You are obligated at this point to check out a video. You ain't obligated to subscribe to nobody now, but you are obligated to go watch one video if you learned something today. But that's YouTube law, y'all. YouTube law. I can't make this stuff up. It's section 362-478. Yeah, it's YouTube law, man. I don't make this stuff up. Y'all think I'm on here telling lies?
Oh man.
But look, hey, y'all have a good day. Enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday. Hey, I'm so glad y'all showed up, man. Thank y'all.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Much love.